The rain started softly, almost gently, like it was testing the ground. I remember thinking I still had time to turn back. But within minutes, the wind rose, the sky collapsed into gray. And I realized I was completely alone, and very far from help. I was 35 years old. I had driven out that morning to disconnect, to spend a few quiet hours in a remote area I had visited once before. Not a dangerous place, just open land, hills, and long stretches of road where you could breathe without interruption. I wasn't running from anything specific. I was just tired. Tired of noise, tired of schedules, tired of feeling like every day demanded something from me. I told myself it would be simple. A short walk. Some photos. Fresh air. Then back before evening. I checked the forecast quickly. Nothing alarming. I trusted the calm sky above me. And I trusted that help was never too far away. By early afternoon, the light began to fade. Not suddenly, just enough to feel off. The clouds thickened, low and heavy, muting the colors of the landscape. The hills that once felt open now felt distant and hollow. The wind changed direction, sharper, colder. It carried the smell of rain and something heavier, damp earth and electricity in the air. I heard the first thunder far away. It didn't scare me. It felt distant, manageable. But the storm didn't stay far. Rain began to fall harder, soaking the ground in minutes. The path I had followed started to disappear under mud and flowing water. Every step became slower, heavier. The sound of the wind drowned everything else out. Even my own thoughts. When I tried to turn back, the road I had come from was gone. Not gone completely, but transformed. Water rushed over it in fast-moving sheets. Small streams had formed where dry ground had been hours before. The distance I needed to cross suddenly felt impossible. I stood there, rain hitting my face, clothes clinging to my skin. My phone showed no signal. The battery was already low. That was when fear settled in. Not panic. Fear with weight. I wasn't lost in the sense of direction. I was trapped by the storm itself. Thunder cracked overhead, closer now. The sound didn't echo, it slammed. The wind pushed against me so hard I had to brace myself to stay upright. Rain blurred my vision, each drop cold and relentless. I searched for shelter, anything. A tree line. A dip in the land. A structure. Nothing. The temperature dropped quickly. My hands began to shake, not just from cold, but from the effort of staying focused. Thoughts came in fragments. If the rain doesn't stop. If the water keeps rising. If I slip. I realized then how small I was. Nature wasn't angry. It wasn't cruel. It was simply indifferent. I found partial shelter behind a cluster of rocks, barely enough to break the wind. I crouched low, pulling my jacket tight, knees drawn to my chest. Time stretched. The storm didn't pass quickly. It stayed. Rain pounding, wind howling, thunder rolling again and again. I tried to conserve my energy, staying as still as possible. Every movement felt expensive. I talked to myself quietly. Not to stay calm, but to stay present. I reminded myself to breathe. To stay awake. To keep checking my surroundings. Night began to approach, slowly darkening the world into deep shadows. That scared me more than the storm itself. As daylight faded, the rain intensified once more. Water pooled around my feet. The ground beneath me softened, unstable. I realized how easily one wrong move could take me down. A fall. A twisted leg. A moment I wouldn't recover from. I felt exhaustion pressing in, heavy, tempting. The urge to close my eyes and stop fighting. That was the most dangerous moment. I knew it instinctively. If I gave in to that tiredness, I might not wake up. I pressed my back against the rock and forced myself to stay alert, even as my body begged for rest. I had never felt so aware of my own fragility. Sometime after nightfall, the storm began to weaken. Not all at once, just slowly enough to notice. The rain softened. The wind eased. I waited longer than I thought necessary, afraid of trusting the quiet too soon. When I finally stood, my legs protested, stiff and numb. But they held. I followed the terrain carefully, choosing higher ground, avoiding the rushing water. Step by step. No rushing. No mistakes. Hours later, I saw something unnatural in the darkness, a faint reflection. Metal. A guardrail. A road. I don't remember how long it took me to reach it. Only that when I did, I sat down and let myself breathe fully for the first time. Help came later. A passing vehicle. A call. Warmth. I was safe. The storm didn't trap me to teach me a lesson. It didn't arrive with meaning or intention. But what I learned stayed with me. That day showed me how quickly control can disappear. And how survival often depends not on strength, but on patience, awareness, and the quiet decision to keep going. Black heart emoji. If this story stayed with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever faced a moment where nature reminded you how small we are? I'd love to read your experience.